downhill tracks. They're big and they're fast, but they don't scare you like Red Bull Hardline.
I had a few nightmares.
It's a beast of a course.
Attacking you the whole way down.
Best way for me to describe Red Bull Hardline, like opening Pandora's box. It's a hell of a ride.
Your legs are tired, your hands are going numb.
The whole body is just getting pounded.
Come up short, you're going to pay for it. Come up long, you're going to pay for it just as big.
Seems every time we go to the top, there's one less guy.
It really isn't that you're racing against the other guys, you really are competing against the course.
Back in the groove, eh?
There's a lot of camaraderie between riders. Forces you to help each other out.
Yeah, dude.
Nice, man.
For me, Red Bull Hardline is progression.
It's the Formula One of mountain biking.
The pinnacle of racing.
Definitely for the best of the best.
I think everybody that lines up got a chance to land on the podium. It's going to be pretty tight.
We're definitely pushing for the win.
I'm not going to Red Bull Hardline to come second.
I'm absolutely going there to win. It's going to be do or die in the final.
Hello and welcome to the mountains and massive glacial landforms of Snowdonia National Park in northwest Wales. We're here for the fourth consecutive Red Bull Hardline. I'm Ed Lee, and joining me for the ultimate test in downhill mountain biking is the closest thing the sport has to a crystal ball, Rob Warner. Rob, where does Hardline sit in the world of mountain biking?
Well, it's now firmly established itself on the calendar as one of downhill's major fixtures. We had the World Cup seasonal summer, we had the World Championships a couple of weeks ago. Now it's time for the season finale. This is the most progressive downhill race on the planet.
Well, over the last 4 years, we've seen the riders slowly getting acclimatised to this huge course. And last year, in dry conditions, we had a very, very tight race. This year, Mother Nature's had her say, and suddenly we've got driving rain and lots of mud on the course. What are the implications of those conditions for the race?
It's been a torrid week. You know, we are in Wales, in the mountains. There's been a fair bit of rain coming down as ever. But I do feel like the riders have really evolved with this event. You know, it's not really the jumps now, these huge jumps that are causing the problems like we've seen in the past. 2015, by the time we got to the final, we only actually had 8 starters left. I mean, you know, so it's moved on. It's the natural parts of the track now that are becoming really more difficult, more challenging with that rain. They're already designed to be the most technical, the most difficult parts you've ever seen on a racetrack. And yes, the rain has made it a lot harder.
Okay, how are the riders coping?
Well, we've got a lot of riders that have never been here before, and it's a lot to take in, I'll be honest. I mean, just to get used to the size and the scale of everything here and how hard it is. Some of them, the ones that are left to this final this afternoon, I think they're going to be very happy just to get over that finish line. But we have got some of the world's best racers here, and they've been here before. They're going to need that experience. They're going to call on all of it, and they've really got their head around this place, and they will attack this course. They want this title, and we're going to have a real race on our hands. But like we say, it's Red Bull Hardline. Some big names have gone out already. Charlie Hatton, he won the British Downhill Series title last week, and you know, he hit the ground this week. He won't be starting. Big crash for him, real shame. I was looking forward to seeing him race. And Jerome Caroli this morning came up short on a jump, so it looks like his day is done as well.
Okay, it is a beast of a course, but there's no doubting that the scenery here is the beauty. It's some of the most stunning in the UK. Not that the riders will get to enjoy it while they're tearing down this mountain. Rob and I did, though, when we took a more leisurely stroll to look at the course. Welcome to the legendary and rather blustery start gate at Red Bull Hardline. In front of me lies 2.7 kilometres of the toughest downhill track in the world. This top section is all about precision and fitness. It's a sprint out of the start gate, and then the track drops into some steep, natural terrain in the woods.
Turn left out of the woods, get off the brakes and enter warp speed. You'll need to. This is one of the biggest, and it's the fastest jump on the track. It's called the Cannon, and this year it's had this huge knuckle of a landing added. Giathan told me you've got to go as fast as you can and pull as hard as you can on the bars if you're going to stand any chance getting over this thing. And believe me, coming up short is not an option.
And that Cannon feature is what supplies the speed for this, the Step Up. It's a metal freestyle motocross kicker that fires the riders over this enormous chasm of a gap.
from one of the most spectacular and man-made parts of the course. We're coming to this middle section. Looks quite innocuous, all natural, but in the middle of it, it has this fearsome drop. One, in fact, that Bernard Kerr, last year's winner, says is the hardest part of this track. In fact, I'm going to put what's left of my reputation on the line and say this part of the course is where this year's hardline will be won or lost.
After the flowing dirty fern section, the course makes its way down here to the waterfall's edge, and history tells us this is one part of the course where we're likely to see mistakes, because this jump is changing the rider's direction in the air. But critically, on the approach there's a dip or compression, and the extra G-forces the riders experience there can easily alter their trajectory.
We're so close to the bottom of the course now, the riders can smell the barbecues, but they can't let down their guard just yet. This is the hugely intimidating road gap. It demands respect and absolute accuracy. Get it right, it looks easy. Get it wrong, and crossing that finish line is the least of your worries.
Well, as we said earlier, the rain has affected the course, but now the wind wants in on the act. On top of the mountain, the winds are too strong to get over the jump, so instead the start's been lowered into the woods. What does this mean for the race, Rob?
Well, it's definitely the right decision, but what it does mean now is that the riders are going to leave the start line and go straight into one of the biggest jumps on the track, one of the scariest, the Cannon, with absolutely no warm-up.
Well, it's certainly not getting any easier for them. Let's take a look at the new revised course, but this time from a rider's point of view.
So hold on tight, we're about to go here on bike with last year's winner Bernard Kerr. Into this left and off the brakes, don't need to do much else. Look at the speed he's picking up as he hits the Cannon. Over 50 feet, that huge jump, and now coming towards the step up at well over 40 miles an hour.
And the crowd's so thick there this year, 4 or 5 deep.
Still a difficult jump to gauge that, difficult up there because of the wind conditions. Coming down now towards what Bernard himself calls the hardest drop on the track, clearly down that as well, perfect. And he actually sets up across those slippery rocks there. That gave him a better line through what would have been that right-hander.
Laying the bike over, driving it into that berm. So tricky, really technical section here. Rob, you've said you think this is where the course is going to be won and lost.
Well, look at Bernard flowing down here, not stalling anywhere, carrying good speed everywhere, picking a great line through those tree stumps, through the, now it comes in the dirt road, big step down. Look to land right in the sweet spot of that, and now into another big step up. And over that one, Bernard loves to be in the air with his wheels off the ground. Now it's going to get dark here. This left-hander, very slippery in the trees, tree roots everywhere.
It's off camber as he comes down to the waterfall's edge, and this is the compression into that change of direction.
Beautifully over that, perfection from Kerr. The second part of the waterfall's edge, a lot less problematic than it has been in past years. Now coming down towards the switchbacks, picking his way down through these trees. Easy to let your guard down on these parts of the track. We saw Bernard very nearly throw it away here last year in one of these corners. Super slippery. Breathing hard, legs are burning, heart rate's through the roof, and now this has proven to be the most difficult pass. Takes the line over that big rock on the right, and down there, the mud all over those rocks has made it incredibly difficult. Lost some time there. Here he goes, off the road gap.
It's phenomenal, isn't it? How the contrast between the speeds of that very slow technical section suddenly opening it up and dropping 10 metres.
Now, trying to compose himself before he goes off this big drop. He's going to stay to the right there.
That landing looks flat, even from a rider's point of view.
The further you get to the right there, the better the landing is. Kurt looked like he nailed it. And you've got to carry good speed here now, because this is now a drop down towards the last turn on the track. You can lose time from here on down. Sets up to the right, off that big step down. Gets really close to the tree. Critical there, that left-hander. It's slippery this year. A slide there will lose you some time right down to the line. And that is a lap of Red Bull Hardline 2017.
The riders are up in the start gate. Join us after the break for what promises to be one of the most unpredictable races in Red Bull Hardline history. Welcome back to Red Bull Hardline here in Snowdonia National Park. We have confirmation of our 10 finalists. We had qualifying earlier on this morning, and it wasn't without its drama, Rob.
No, I don't think we saw any of the riders make a clean run down. Like we said, earlier, it wasn't really the jumps that caused the problems. Actually, it was the route, the rock chute coming down into that big road gap that caught everyone out, including the number one qualifier, Adam Brayton. To me, he lost 3, 4, maybe even 5 seconds there, and he is still the fastest qualifier. Let's see what he can do in the final. The top 3 actually from qualifying, closer than ever, just 3 seconds separating them. So we've got a battle on our hands now for this finals run.
Certainly Kerr is just off the pace, and he looked like it was maybe only 90% of his capability. It wasn't good news for everyone though. Oscar Harnstrom, the Swede, lucky that he crashed in one of the, it looks like an innocuous crash, but certainly one of the easier parts of the course.
It was a nasty slam. I mean, sometimes those slow ones hurt the most. I don't think he'll be leaving here feeling like a super trooper.
Oh, a lovely Swedish pun there, Rob. We knew he was all right, though, when he reached up to turn the GoPro off. It is time to get this race underway, though, so we're heading up to the start gate for our 10th place qualifier, Chaos Seagrave. So, the younger brother of Tani Seagrave, the women's downhill racer, is up in the start gate, and he's pretty keen to make a name for himself here, Rob.
Well, it's a big opportunity for him. He's through to the final. And he's had a great year, actually, at the World Cups this year, as his last year as a junior. He's up to the elite ranks next year. So this really his first time rubbing shoulders with some of the world's best.
Second place in Lord, opened up his season with a great result in the juniors, and then had some bad luck at a lot of the other races. It wasn't his speed that was the problem. Now he sets off and he's going to do this steep left-hander, and then this is the run-up to the cannon.
So, few pedal strokes to get it going. Here we go then, it's huge that jump. Absolutely massive, nails it. Lands exactly where he should. Plenty of speed into this huge step up. Nicely over that as well. So, younger brother of Tani Seagrave. She won 3 World Cups in the elite women this year. So a fast family that have actually moved up here to North Wales. About half hour from here, he comes down into that horrible drop. It doesn't look much there, but it is so technical.
Really steep, difficult takeoff on the rock, and then that fires you straight into a berm. Hard 90-degree left-hander. And keeping control of that, we've seen some very good riders go over that berm, over the bars. So at the moment, Chaos Seagrave looking very comfortable.
This part of the track, incredibly steep, very narrow, no room for error. And right now you can see it still very slippery. The course is drying. The last few may have an advantage. Each rider will take a bit more of that dirt off. Here comes Seagrave then up to this second big jump.
It's not often you see people with time to take a foot off.
No, through the dirty ferns there, that's right.
These jumps are actually so big, it's the one spot that the racers can rest and catch their breath in. So down into the waterfall's edge, big compression, change of direction.
Incredible style there from Chaos Seagrave. Chaos by name, not by nature so far. Looking very clean here this afternoon.
Just to coast, this is one of the flatter sections of the course. Trees are super tight, and there's a couple of options for the track down through here.
Again, this part looking a little drier than it did even in qualifying earlier. So I think we're going to see that time come down this afternoon of Adam Brayton, the fastest qualifier. 2:27.63 is the time to beat. This was the part of the course that caused so many problems, and especially this bit. And it has dried out because Seagrave is the first to cleanly get across there today.
Well, Adam Brayton did it in qualifying, but not the whole section. Oh, over the road gap. The crowd there enjoying every single one of those drops. Chaos Seagrave making this look very, very tidy. Whether or not he's fast, he's made this course look deceptively easy.
I'm not sure. I think we're going to see, riders attack a little more, that's for sure. But like you said, Chaos riding within himself and looking good. You've got to treat this place with respect, especially, your first year here. It's a huge disadvantage. Tries to get a pedal in there and lost the front. It looked like blew that. So he's going to have to pick up some speed now. Off this step down and into this last left. Hard on the brakes as he lands. Couple of pedals and it go over this big double! Oh my my goodness! Well, he didn't have the pace for that, and he nearly went out the front door. Seagrave, well, he put all our hearts in our mouths as well. 2:45.40 then is his time. I think he'll be mighty relieved to get away with that one, my word.
A little bit front wheel heavy down on the landing. Let's take a look at this.
That was frightening.
Beautiful style over that step up. And he looked like he had a lot of speed, but he did just tag the knuckle there slightly.
Some beautiful style through the waterfall's edge, and that's about as close to a disaster as you want to get. That's a big, big jump to either come up short on or go out the front door on. And he was super cautious coming into it.
You can see the adrenaline seeping out of his eyes there. 2:45 is the benchmark by 10th place qualifier Chaos Seagrave. Up now to Al Bond. Pro racer, won the British Downhill Series in 2011.
Well, this man is a huge natural talent on a mountain bike. Cleanly over that jump as well.
But how fast is it doing that? He had to go high to get over it. You think that Chaos maybe came just a little bit flatter across the step up. Deals with that rock drop really nicely.
Retired from professional racing a few years ago, but still comes out for Hardline. Raced it last year. He's only done 2 races actually since he was here last year. 2 British Downhill Series races. Came second at one of them. So watch out for this man.
Well, it goes to show what you were saying before the race started, that this is so much of Hardline is about experience of the course. Bouncing through there, coming down into Dirty Fern, this big flowing section. Squashed that really nicely.
Going for a good time, it looks like here then. So, from Wales with love, Alex Bond, down through the trees. Riders getting a few pedals in here and there this year there. Styles it out. First one on the waterfall's edge. This second one a lot nicer than it was 12 months ago. Actually, we had a lot of rain here this week, but the jumps have stood up well to it. They're definitely very established here now.
Well, they're packed with that shale, so they're draining really, really well. As they make their way down here, you can see this clay soil further down the valley that really starts to clod up. Now, a lot of problems through here. He's gone straight over that rock. Chaos Seagrave opted to go around the left-hand side of it. Let's see. Oh! And that's what we saw from so many riders in qualification. A foot down in this section, and he's made a real meal of that now.
And you definitely want to get your feet clipped back in for this. That huge step down. 55 feet off that lip, down to that landing. Massive jump. Going to turn right now and head towards another big drop. Horrible hard landing, much harder actually than the road gap, this one. And he's a little bit out of sorts coming down to it, Bond is. So that has, yeah, that's blown it. You can't be going off there. I was going to say from a dead start. Maybe you can. Let's keep an eye on this. Well, Bond picks it up nicely. But his race run is done.
Okay, so a couple of cranks there just to make it over that little road gap.
So the man from Wrexham then coming down to the line. Alex Bond then, just his big double to go. Been a good showing again here at Hardline. He made it through to the finals. Bond then with a 2:49.99, only actually less than 5 seconds off that time of Chaos Seagrave. That's surprising. But I think, you know, we're going to see that qualifying time come down as well this afternoon. Of course, definitely drier than it was this morning.
Okay, Laurie Greenland is up next, and he's coming off a great downhill season. Going to see him in all of his glory after Albon's replays. So Albon. So Laurie Greenland's up next, and he's coming off a great downhill season.
So this will be my first Red Bull Hardline. What I would quite like to do it is just purely because it's so different. Not often you get to hit jumps that you're scared of. Makes me think of being a kid again, being so scared to hit jumps outside the front of your house. It'll be cool to go back and get some fear again, yeah. I've always ridden bikes my whole life. Always been really competitive, and I've always had that extreme sport edge to me as well. I think it's going to be pretty demanding on bike and body, so just make sure you're fully prepared. Yeah, it'd be real cool to win. Amazing way to end a really good year.
Greenland, rider number 17 on course, Laurie Greenland.
So Greenland, second place in the World Championships last year, junior world champion 2015. What's he got on the hardline course?
Already made his presence felt in the elite ranks. Can he make his presence felt here at Red Bull Hardline? It's his first actual go at this race. Comes up short there. An indication that he probably wasn't going as quick as some of the other riders we've seen.
Do you think that's an inertia thing? Because he's one of the smaller riders, isn't he? Has he just not got the weight to get the bike down there?
I'm not sure. I mean, this man certainly knows how to go fast, Ed. It could be, though, on that flat section. He lost a little bit of pace. The wind up there as well, a little unpredictable, but into his rhythm now.
Chainsaws welcoming him down into dirty fun. Oh!
It's slick up there, you know.
So working the bike hard through this technical section. He says his strategy today is to stay on the bike and off the brakes.
Well, that's different from what we saw at the World Championships last year. It was one of the wildest runs I've ever seen. Squashes his way into Dirty Ferns. Should have good speed on the exit. Nice and up over that step up, no problems then. Yeah, Greenland, you know, it's been a battle for him here this week. To get up to speed, first time here, it's a tall order. With the amount of practice the riders have on this track, you've got to get your head around these huge jumps. But Greenland is sublimely skilled, no questions about his talents.
Said earlier in the week that he thinks this course is on the edge of what is possible in terms of physics on a bike.
Getting tidy now.
Kid from Bristol. Looking like he's working that bike through the berms. Coasting through here as he comes to this precipice that leads into that big road gap, but the road gap, you speak to the riders, is relatively simple compared to this section.
He was trying to keep his feet up there, and he certainly paid the price with the clock to do it. Bit of rain on the lens there of that camera. Let's hope weather's not coming in. But yeah, Greenland really tried to set up there, and it didn't quite pay off for him. But this is more like the stuff he knows. Flowing down here now.
Coming in incredibly flat landing here. You've got to get that speed just right off that drop.
Well, he was over 5 seconds back as he went off the road gap, so it looks to me, and a lot of that would have actually been down to that big stall we saw him have there. Greenland then hops off there, coming down now towards this step down. He's going to send it to the right. That left-hander thankfully has dried out a little bit. So here he comes then, Laurie Greenland down towards the line. He's not going to go fastest. Greenland with a 2:36.3, nearly 10 seconds back.
Well, more and more, Chaos Seagrave's time is starting to look impressive. So you see these riders come down and battle. Real problem here, right from the off for Laurie Greenland. He just couldn't get the speed for that step up. He gets the bounce and needs a couple of cranks just to fire him into this wilderness section. Got this one beautifully though.
Yeah, nice ride for him and great style. He would have been looking for more this afternoon, but as we said, you know, first time here, it's a big undertaking to get up to speed on this
Next
track.
rider, Graham Mudd.
Okay,
Rider
next
7 on
rider
course.
in,
Graham
Graham
Mudd,
Mudd.
rider 7 on course.
The Australian who missed out on the World Championships on home turf, has stayed here in Wales after the beginning of the World Cup, and he's been practicing on Dovey, Dan Atherton's bike park. Let's see if it's paid off.
Raced here in 2016, Graham Mudd, so he's had a year to get the measure of things, and it's a fast start from the Australian. Not the kind of conditions you'd imagine he's used to. Actually flown back here from home after those World Championships a couple of weeks ago. Nicely off that drop. There's a rock on there that comes out of the ground at about 45 degrees, and if you touch a wheel on it, it tends to send you not really where you want to be until you hit the deck there, so hopefully not actually hit the deck.
First year on the Trek Factory racing team, and Hasn't been quite as stellar as he would have liked. Came here as a privateer, 2016.
Here he comes then, in at Dirty Ferns. Lands the first one nicely. And good speed out up over that second one. Clears it easily as well, even managing to find some time to style it up for the crowd. But, you know, like we said, Ed, a lot of these riders here won't risk everything on this big course. They're going to take their time and really deal with these big jumps, make sure they're right for them. As we get further through the qualifiers, the riders are going to risk more and more as they get the chance to take the win here.
Well, you called it at the start of the show. You said there'll be those that are surviving and those that are attacking. Certainly, once you've qualified, I think there is room now for people like Graham Mudd, and as we saw with Chaos Seagrave, to attack the course. This is your chance. You've proved you can get down the course. You may as well go for it now. And I think that was the approach that Chaos Seagrave took, certainly.
Well, it looks like Mudd just relaxing there before coming into this horrific rock section here. The bike clattering away on rocks left and right. That big rock on the inside of the turn, catching a lot of them in qualifying. There's rocks out of sight over the back of there that really... and Mudd actually, well, my split time saying he's up by 0.9 of a second. So, interested. Can he keep it going now down towards the bottom?
Got to keep the focus on. This section is so technical, as we saw. Oh, nice line off there. Slowed that down a little bit and really rolled through.
Yeah, run the front along that big slab on the right there to take a little bit of the sting out of that landing. Yeah, very clever riding from Mudd. So, whoa, getting kicked as he comes down through the trees then.
Fires out of the forest and into this left-hander, so slippery on the grass.
It's been a good run from Graham Mudd. Here he comes in and down to the line. What's the time going to be? 2:36.8 or 0.73, excuse me. So he goes into second place.
Wow. Very, very close so far then. 2:36.73. Just 0.47 behind Laurie Greenland.
Surprising, you know, showing there that he didn't look like he was risking everything at the top at all, but it's paid off for him. Mistakes will be punished hard here on this course. So Graham would be pretty happy with that, Ed.
I was about to say exactly the same thing. He's made it to the bottom twice today, qualification and the main event. Back up to the top now, and we've got Taylor Vernon.
Number 4 on course. Taylor Vernon, number 4 on course.
From Bridgend on Junior Tools.
Third time here for Taylor Vernon. Fires out of the cannon. Over the step up. This man broke his back in 2013 at Crankworks in Canada. Actually was told it would take him 18 months of recovery. Came back in 2014 to win a Junior World Cup. So, this is one gutsy young rider. And didn't he make that look easy? The roots taking him around that stump there. Didn't bother him.
So light on the bike.
Yeah, dancing down there. You could. Oh, well, gets caught out a little bit there. He's pushing on though. So still a sting in the tail of that middle section. Very slippery it looks like. The rider's saying the rocks and the roots incredibly slippery still. And this mud turned into a slime now as it dries. So that won't be helping in those parts of the course.
Drops down into Dirty Fern. Angles that bike over and boosts over the step up.
Comes from a motocross background, so the big jump shouldn't faze him.
We can enjoy this section of the course.
Most of these riders. Go on, Ed, sorry.
I was going to say, not too many cranks there compared to some of the riders we've seen. Chaos Seagrave really gave it a couple. Winding his way into Waterfall's Edge.
A lot of these riders will run their suspension. Their tyre pressure's a bit harder for the big hits here. That won't help them when they're out in the open in that, on the more natural parts of the course where grip is paramount. It's a bit of a different bike setup here at Hardline for most of the riders. Brayton told me he is running his bike exactly as he does for World Cups.
Vernon really active on the bike through those berms though. A lot of riders we've seen trying to rest there, but he really went for that.
And he was super quick down there. He paid the price on the left at the bottom. And now he's in a mess, he goes down, and now he's losing some serious time, unfortunately.
I take my hat off to him though, because he's really gone for it. He's carried a lot of speed into these technical sections. I watched him in practice up at the top in that wilderness area, and it was the same. He was attacking them all.
Whistles into that big right-hand berm at the bottom there.
So the split definitely 1:55, 5 seconds back off Graham Mudd's time. It was fastest at the split so far.
Well, he's going to have to take what we call the B route around that one with that mistake at the top of it. But I think Taylor's showing us what can be done. You know, he's nailed that middle section. He's been fast down here to that mistake as well. So he's took some risks. He has paid the price for it, but it's been an aggressive run. It's only going to get more aggressive after. Only 5 riders left at the top after this man crosses the line. And the winner surely to come from one of those riders. So Vernon across the line. It's a 2:45.96. He goes into 4th, nearly 10 seconds back. Might have been different without that crash there in the rocks.
So 2:45 for Taylor Vernon. An admirable descent though. He really attacked this course. He's not happy just to make the top 10. He wanted a decent time out of this. Currently sat in 4th place. 5 riders still to drop though. So you can see him. 5 riders down, 5 still to go. And Chaos Seagrave, the first rider down, his time sitting pretty at the top of the standings so far, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good run, wasn't it, though? 2:45.4. You compare that to the fastest qualifying, though, at 2:27.63. I think that probably lets us know what we're in for. The fastest are yet to come. And, you know, the rain, it looks like it's holding off at the moment. This track's drying. We're in for a few runs now.
It's had more riders down it so far than we've seen in the last couple of days, top to bottom, and that is going to be changing the surface.
Yeah, that'll dry it out a little bit as well. These riders all scraping it off a bit. I mean, the rocks and the roots, though, still look incredibly slick, especially through that, you know, whole middle section before they get to Dirty Ferns. And, you know, like I said, that rock chute there before they come down into the road gap, definitely, in fact, really above that road gap, the crux of this course. That, if you nail that, it could be worth a huge amount of time for you. If you're somewhere near there on time and you nail that, you're looking in good shape.
Okay, we're going back up to the top now with the man who created this course. He's arguably knows it better than anyone, is Dan Atherton. Man in the start gate.
Okay, Dan. Ready when you are.
A sadist in the world of mountain biking, I think it's fair to say. Even his own brother G said,
Number 6, Dan
why do you build these
course.
jumps so big?
He can't help himself.
Send it, mate.
Well,
35 years old as well now, you know, and he doesn't, just still not scared, Dan Atherton. He's an absolute charger. Had some massive injuries in his time as well, but it doesn't deter him at all. So Dan Atherton now on track.
Look at that, boosted deep into that landing. I think the biggest we've seen anyone go on the step up.
But he had a great, made it right to the backside of that jump, so didn't lose any time there. Dan Atherton, a great downhiller in his time, finished 2nd in a World Cup. So this bit won't bother him. And this course, the Atherton's been riding on this mountainside on a lot of this course for a decade now. It's slowly evolved into this beast that it is today. But, you know, this is why they moved to Snowdonia.
Well, Dan's been a part of the evolution of this course every step of the way. And watching him in practice, he looked so smooth. He flows down this course like water. For me, I think he's one of the few riders genuinely attacking. Obviously, now they've made the finals, they've got more settled. There's a few more in there, but I think he's podium material.
Oh, he is. And he nailed that whole part of the course there. Even managing a dog leg there out of the Dirty Ferns for the crowd. But yeah, he looked good through that section. So what we've seen of Dan Atherton so far, looking absolutely spotless. And another one there, super stylish. Remember Dan as well, won a 4-cross race, which is a little bit like BMX on mountain bikes. So the jumps won't faze him, and you know, how can they? He built them, he's got to be able to get over them cleanly.
Yeah, but don't forget, 2015, testing this course, he broke his shoulder in 3 places. He knows better than anyone that this course bites. But same as Laurie Greenland, really active on the bike through these berms. The fitness is there, and he's not letting off just because he's got a gentler section of course.
Well, under pressure, managing to take his time over the top there. And it pays off. That was good through there from Dan Atherton. This is looking good, you know.
Even the master builder dropped a foot though.
He's up by 1.4 as he goes off the road gap. So Dan Atherton is on a run here. This is looking good. The one is still there. The Athertons still haven't won, you know, an event they invented. And their only chance to date is Dan. Oh, sends it from a long way back, cleanly over that drop there.
And certainly the split time, 1.47, suggests he's in the running. Fastest so far. Can he hold it through these final stages?
So Atherton, a little bit of time to play with as he now comes down towards the line.
There just isn't a point where you can relax though. You're on the edge round that corner. And it's a big jump into the finish line there.
Lands deep, Manuel's down to the line. Dan Atherton then goes fastest with a 2:33.73. 2.5 seconds faster than anyone else so far today. Great stuff.
So very, very quick time from Dan Atherton, and certainly that sits with what we saw in qualifying. The top 5 were really attacking this course, and he's got daylight there, nearly 3 seconds. So let's take a look back at this. Body position, his weight on the bike.
Styling it out.
He was in and out of the pedals around a lot of those corners, wasn't he?
You know, look at him. Look at Dan Atherton. He doesn't race much, but he could if he wanted to. Still a formidable force.
Okay, we can go down to the finish line now, where we have Dan Atherton.
An amazing run there. How would it feel to win this race, seeing as how much effort you put into this event, building it and creating it?
Yeah, I think for me, just being able to ride is amazing, and I never would have been if it wasn't for Ollie Davey. You know, past years I've had to slave away getting everything ready, and I've just been too tired, but this year I got a bit of energy. Cheers, Ollie.
And you're currently the fastest with 4 riders to go. Do you think this time's got what it takes to take the win here?
Nah, I was pretty shady.
Thanks, Dan.
There you have it. Dan Atherton, short and to the point. He doesn't think he's done enough to win. Only 4 riders left to drop though. Craig Evans is next. No massive results on the downhill side of things, but he attended Loosefest, arguably the loosest example of mountain biking in the world. Big 30-metre gaps. He's going to be at home on this course, Rob.
He is, absolutely, and it was a great qualifier from Craig Evans there in 4th place. The former industrial window cleaner won't mind heights like this. Oh, gets the front wheel down on the backside. Nothing wrong with that.
He was really humble when I spoke to him about this. He really didn't expect much, and I think he probably surprised himself with the 4th place in qualifying.
Didn't slow down much either for that big drop there. So Evans is looking good here. Bike slip sliding around. Hasn't seen him at so many downhill races this year, actually. Getting onto the Josh Bryceland, his mate's programme of basically riding his bike all day long, every day, having fun. And in good company as well. Josh, the 2014 overall World Cup winner.
Well, he came here last year and blew up his PCL on the step up, so he was desperate for a bit of redemption. And certainly on qualifying alone, he's got that. But right now, he's in the hot seat to haul in Dan Atherton's time of 2 minutes and 33 seconds. He's looking good.
So far, it does look good. Yeah, he was pretty quick through the open. Couple of pedal strokes in there from Craig Evans as well. Full of style. Little tap on the top of there, didn't slow him down.
Manuel down the back of that.
Don't know if he meant to do that, but if he did, fair play.
So
his teammate, Adam Brayton, of course, the #1 qualifier, the last man we'll see here this afternoon.
So not pushing quite as hard through these berms, using that just to take a bit of a rest maybe. Going round the big rock.
Good so far though. Here is the difficult part. Yes, Craig, absolutely nailed it.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really good from him. What's the split time? And Gunatalis is up by 1.45 then. Wow. Over 1.5 seconds nearly to play with. So Craig Evans is on a run.
Well, he was just so smooth through that section before the road gap. Can he hold on to it through here?
Oh my goodness! Well, rides the front wheel there. Riders, remember, they're pretty tired when they get to the bottom here.
Rolled the dice, somehow came up with snake eyes and rode out of that. That was phenomenal.
That was about as close as Chaos Seagrave came to tasting the Welsh dirt. But I think he didn't lose him any time.
It actually looks now like it's fired him up. He looks like he's going even faster since that lets the back wheel hang out as he powers down to the finish line.
And Craig Evans, the time is at 2:31.29. He goes fastest here in Snowdonia. Well, 2.44 up on anyone. A 2:31 compared to the 2:27 of his teammate Adam Brayton. 4 seconds off that fastest qualifying time. Will it be enough? I doubt it. With now only 3 riders left at the top here.
This is the step up where he broke his knee last year. He gets over that and it's like he really set off down this course. Put all of his demons to bed. He looked very, very comfortable. This is that manual.
Which I would say probably wasn't on purpose. I don't think it's the kind of place to be doing manuals. That was a manual on the front wheel that he didn't want as well. Nearly.
Phenomenal recovery through there and he just didn't let up. It was like, he knew he'd got his dodgy section out of the way and he really let go. Okay, we're going down to the finish line now for a quick interview with Craig Evans.
Craig, that was a wild run. What's going through your head right now? You look like you're just happy to be alive.
Yeah, man, I wasn't like pushing on too much. I was just like trying to put a smooth run together. But went a bit fast, I guess, I don't know.
Now, this is only the real downhill race you do all season. Do you think you can win this, though?
Probably not. Right, those last 3 boys are rapid, so probably not, no.
Okay, cheers, Craig.
Cheers.
While Craig Evans gets his breath back, we've got time to reflect on what we've seen so far and what's coming up. 3 riders who are going to go neck to neck. They were separated by less than 3 seconds in qualifying and they're about to explode.
3 seconds is nothing on this track, Ed. And, you know, we got 3 big dogs from the World Cup Series. Alexandre Fayol, he won the opening round of this year. Then we got Bernard Kerr, he's coming back from injury, but he's done it in some style. He was fast at the World Championships, although he didn't actually, you know, put a time down. He crashed, but he is bang on the money as well. And of course, the last man down is Adam Brayton, who is about as fearless as they come, and he wants to win this one this afternoon. So, you know, I'm pretty sure we're going to see the winner is going to be from one of those 3 left now.
Okay, well, the same as Craig Evans, our next rider, Alexandre Fayol, also crashed out last year, and the way he's been riding in both practice and qualifying proves that he's here to make a statement. Let's go up to the top and get ready for that descent. For me, he's one of my favourite riders. He just has the style on the bike, the pop, the way he can just yank his way through the difficult sections.
Well, 10th overall in the World Cup at the end of the year. I mean, you know, you're looking at one of the best downhill riders on the planet now. So Fayol makes his bid for some hardline glory. Squashes that step down there off the lip. That's a brave move. We stood on the lip of that thing. I couldn't believe anyone was going to jump it when we walked the course earlier in the week.
That was majestic. He met that transition perfectly.
Looks like the cloud darkening up a little bit, but the rain, I think, holding off at the moment. Don't want it to get damp up there. It will soon affect these rocks that Fayol is on now. But look at him, carrying so much speed through here. Looking great.
He is fearless, isn't he? There's just nothing on this course that has made him hesitate. Watched him a couple of times roll into these really steep rock sections where people were walking or watching.
Oh, he's getting a bit behind the bike there. You can see him getting in trouble. That's cost him a bit of time. He was fighting it all the way along that camber actually before he eventually had to put a foot down, and he goes big there. Probably thought he was going slower than he was. Landed deep, he recovers it well. But Fayol, a little messy then as he came into Dirty Ferns. Now, he goes down, he loses the front on a route and he goes down. And that probably, all the way back to where we saw him have that dab, it breaks your concentration, a mistake like that. You start to panic, you start to want to push harder to make up for that mistake, and then it can very, very easily snowball.
So lost his rhythm through that critical top section between the step up and Dirty Ferns. And now he finds himself chasing a time that there is no way he can catch. We've seen such clean runs. Oh! And again, off the corner of that rock.
That's it. Yeah. Wind it down, Alex. It's over. No more crashes. I mean, you know, last year he was airlifted out of here, so he's doing a lot better so far. Not at the bottom yet, though. But he's
so
a brave man.
disappointing.
Well, you know, we said about the last three pushing for the win. That's exactly what they're doing. On a course like this, there is no room for error. It will punish you.
So, Alexander Fayol making his way down now, knowing that he's let this one go. It's quite literally survival through this section, and then hopefully a big showboat off the road gap for the crowd.
Nice and easy over there for Alexander Fayol. But yeah, you know, big crash here last year, came out moving his levers back up to where he wants them. Riding for Polygon team, Indonesian bike company.
Behind, you've got to say probably behind Bruni and Bergier is the next generation of big, strong French downhill talent.
The French are back in downhill, that's for sure, yeah.
Second highest ranked World Cup rider behind Laurie Greenland.
And you know, you got to say really, in Lord, he perhaps got a bit lucky with the weather, but it was a World Cup winning run. He gave it absolutely everything. It was quite something to watch as he came down the bottom of that course. So Fayol, not going to be any good, but he leaves here in one piece.
What it does mean, and he'll be extremely excited about it, is that Craig Evans has made the top three here at Red Bull Hardline 2017.
Exactly, great ride for him at the moment then. So Craig Evans leads. Second at the moment, Dan Atherton, and in third, it's Laurie Greenland. But that, yeah, how quickly did that go wrong?
Well, you're surrounded by these huge features, and yet it's these little things, as you said, that catch you out. It's the details.
You know, because you're so focused on the big features on this course, it's easy to perhaps let your guard down a little bit on the other parts of the track. It's quite dark actually as you go in that tree there as well, into those trees there as well. That won't help. But
okay, now we're going to go back up to the top, and we've got the 2016 Hardline winner up there, Bernard Kerr. Can he follow up that victory with another one this year?
To win Red Bull Hardline, it's definitely confidence inspiring. It's one of the hardest tracks out there with the biggest features, so...
Look how comfortable he is in the air.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're quite a good bike rider for sure.
Here he comes in across the line, Bernard Kerr, look at the time!
In June this year, I actually crashed and snapped all the ligaments in my right shoulder, so my preparation for Hardline this year has not been ideal and a lot less than last year, so I'm just riding on the road, trying to go to the gym and just get my fitness and strength back, really. I'm confident, I'm always confident. I think it's like maybe one of the strongest things I have for me. Like last year I was confident going there, I knew I could win it, and I did, so...
An incredible run!
I'm not going to Red Bull Hardline to come second, you know, I'm there to win it.
Well, he talked about training. It's 6 days a week, 3 days in the gym, 3 days cardio. A lot of people tipping him to make it two in a row. Second to last rider to drop. Can Bernard Kerr lay down a winning time?
Well, he certainly has come back into 2017 with a bang after that shoulder injury. Took him out for most of the season. Oh, massive over there. So that shows how much speed he was carrying in there. And Kerr with a dab there and there, lucky to get away with that. Oh, he's in real trouble.
Oh, he's running the bike down that last section.
Well, Kerr did well just to keep that thing up right there.
Oh, and he landed that so flat.
But
he
that
had
has cost
no
him some
business
time.
making that turn.
This is what happens when you push for the win here. It's so steep, this part of the course.
You can see him working the bike, trying to squeeze every ounce of speed out of every feature now. He's under pressure, and this isn't the position he wanted to be in at this stage of the course.
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, you can take from it that he's certainly come back absolutely where he left off. He was fifth in Leogang this year at the World Cup race there before he got hurt. At the World Championships, he was right on the money, he told me. Actually, time training run he did was right where he wanted to be, and crashed out in that final run, as I said. But Bernard Kerr, you know, good to see him back full of confidence. He hasn't let that injury get to him one bit.
Well, the surgeon told him he'd get the all clear yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether or not he had Hardline in mind when he said all clear, I'm not sure, but Bernard Kerr certainly, after that early mistake, starting to make amends, and he's looking fast through this section.
soon find out as he comes up to that split just how much time he lost, but it was a bit. Can he make it up though? Remember, this is hardline, difficult track. A track where if you nail sections, you will be able to pull big time gaps back.
Very
perfect.
fast.
Yeah, perfect into there. And almost perfect around there. Couple of feet down. Needs to get clipped back in before he goes off there.
Oh, I'm holding my breath here. This is going to be very, very close. The road gap split is 1.4792. So he's a little bit behind Craig Evans. 1.61 seconds.
Yeah, just over a second and a half back, but not much.
Don't forget, after that split time, Craig Evans made that mistake.
He did.
So there is room to manoeuvre here.
A lot of time to pull back, I think, even for Bernard Kerr. Another mistake there. Got caught up on that banking on the right-hand side there. He won't beat that time of Craig Evans, I'm pretty sure of it.
He went round that road gap in qualifying as well. That is his line choice. I don't think he's making a mistake there.
So here comes then Bernard Kerr down towards the line. What's it going to be? He goes second, just over 2 seconds back. And at the moment, it's Craig Evans who's looking at winning Red Bull Hardline with only his teammate now left at the top of this mountain. Wow. Wouldn't that be a win for the man from Sheffield?
Wow, what a result for Craig Evans so far. By his own admission, he said he'd done almost nothing. Bernard Kerr sending this top jump, the biggest we've seen anyone go, just scraping the last ounce of that landing, but then overshot this as he came down. He was lucky to stay on the bike.
Yeah, he was. He only just stayed on it. Might have a higher pitched voice tonight.
So, making short work of that road gap, the one that the riders say works so nicely. Okay, and that was the last one, foot down, set up beautifully, but too little, too late for Bernard Kerr there. Let's go down to the finish area now, where we can hear from the 2016 champion.
Okay, Bernard, commiseration's not the run you wanted there. Do you feel there's more pressure on you as defending champion to come and win this event this year as well?
Maybe, I don't know, but it's so wet up in that bit where you almost see me die, like compared to the last run. Honestly, it's like ice up there from half an hour ago till now. It's crazy. So maybe pressure, I don't know, but it was ice, so try my best.
And given the conditions this weekend, are you happy just to come away in one piece, even if it's not the same position you're in last year?
Honestly, no, not really. No.
Thanks, Bernard.
Next up is Adam Brayton from the Lake District, known as Mr. Gasterflat. He is a man with a history on this course.
Riding Red Bull Hardline's like going on a roller coaster for like the first ever time. You hate heights and you just get up to that top and you literally hold there for a second and then you just drop in and it's just the craziest ride of your life.
They call him the Keswick Kestrel.
This is my 3rd year, so I've got a lot of experience. Whole bike setup thing, there's a lot of little things that we do differently and I definitely feel that's an advantage over the newer riders.
He said he would pull the pin in this final and he certainly has.
What keeps me coming back to Red Bull Hardline? Like, if you asked me that question on the Thursday, I'd say I'm hating life. But then come Sunday and you settle down and you're confident, it's probably one of the best race runs of your life. Last year, Red Bull Hardline, I managed to get 3rd place. This year, I will see what happens. I'll be definitely pushing for the win anyway.
He is, without question, one of the bravest riders out there. And in a course like Hardline, to stand out the way he does is truly phenomenal.
It's his 3rd time. He gets some pedals in there. Not scared. Mr. Gasterflat on course then. The lean, green fighting machine that is Adam Brayton.
Came 4th in 2015, 3rd in 2016. Just the top 2 would be an improvement, but I get the feeling today, Rob, he's only after 1 spot.
And if he carries on riding like this, he's going to get it. Brayton. Well, people told me yesterday through this part, he was on another level. Bernard Kerr said it was like ice. Brayton seems to be finding grip there, even getting up over those rocks there. So this is phenomenal riding from Adam Brayton, but it's gone wrong. Loses a foot, gets back on. Wow. Didn't cost him time, I don't think. But look how quick he is. He's composed himself again.
Has that given him pause for thought? Is he going to scale back? No. Absolutely no chance. Look at him.
Does a tear off in the air. Well, there isn't many places on this track where you can sort out your vision. Brayton then making the most of the calm there for that split second in the air.
Now, will he have seen Fayol go down here? He manages to hold on to that, uses that tiny little bit of berm to angle himself out into the waterfall's edge.
This is Brayton at his best. He's risking everything. Sends it big over the waterfall's edge, the first jump there. Is he? He needs to just perhaps take his time now as he comes down towards the road gap. But so this is looking like a blistering run from Brayton so far. So strong, Adam Brayton. Spends his winters doing CrossFit, some sort of strange training that makes you into He-Man on a bike. Over the top of that rock perfectly. Can he nail this exit? Took his time setting up for it, and he hasn't. The wheel goes the wrong side. That's cost him a second, 2, 3 seconds at least.
Don't forget, he made the same mistake in the qualifiers further up the course, and he still took the win. He's that much faster.
He's up by 0.6 of a second. So he is on another pace.
And that split time is taken after that mistake. So
yes,
he has got a shot at the title here.
Can he hold it on now? Just keep it going to the bottom. It's going to be his teammate, if it's not Adam Brayton, that takes the win here. We're looking at a Hope 1-2 at the moment. Brayton then, last few turns. Oh, he goes, he hits that tree so hard.
Look at the bark where it's come off. He's body checked that tree.
Poor tree. Adam looks okay, but that is it. You know what? Craig Evans is going to be your 2017 Red Bull Hardline winner. Who would have seen that coming?
So, Brayton racing maybe for a spot in the top 5. Got himself in the back seat so he could start cranking the moment he landed.
Well, I don't believe it. That was a great run from Brayton. It went wrong right, really, at the last hurdle. But it's Craig Evans that takes the win. Wowee, incredible run from him. Yeah, that must have hurt, even Adam.
Look at him shaking it off, just a little tug of the vest like, yeah, I've just shoved my shoulder through a 120-year-old tree.
We're going to have a conservationist on us about that. Tree damage.
Absolutely phenomenal. He did let it all hang out, and this was the first mistake, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, you know, hard not to when they're pushing that hard and it's so slick. It was so good to that point, though. But, you know, it just kind of started to go wrong. He went big over that. Look at the height of the man there as well. So perhaps not into that as fast as he'd want there to have to pull for that jump, and here it is. Oh my goodness, man.
Stopped him dead.
He'd be glad of all the hours in the gym. That's why partly these guys train so hard, to make them, believe it or not, ready for crashes. Yeah.
Look at that. Squashing that jump out of the woods into the field in front of the crowd assembled down here at the finish. But by that stage, he knew he'd lost out on first. So for the first time at Red Bull Hardline, Brayton doesn't improve his position.
Look at him. Even after hitting a tree like that.
Red Bull Hardline champion, how does that sound?
Yeah, pretty sick, man. Stoked, really stoked.
And did you expect to take the win with your run when you came down?
Not at all. It was a bit sloppy and a few moments in it, I reckon. I think like them boys had harder conditions, a bit of a wetter track and stuff, but pretty buzzing.
And when do you expect for your heart to stop beating so fast?
A few hours or something, maybe.
Thanks very much, Craig.
Well, without a doubt, the biggest win of that man's career. Incredible.
Unbelievable run from him.
You know,
this was the jump that took him down in 2016 in practice. He didn't actually get to race last year.
3 months on crutches after that crash.
Blew out his PCL, didn't it? Posterior cruciate ligament, for those of you not in the know on knee surgeries.
That's me. But, you know, he showed us what he was capable of in qualifying, and then in that finals run, he nailed it.
Now, you've got to wonder if a few of the other loose vest riders are going to start making their way up to hardline come the end of the season. Certainly the jumps are on a par. Nico Vink. Vink actually came in 2014, didn't he?
Red Bull Hardline champion, how does that sound?
Yeah, pretty sick, man. Stoked, really stoked.
And did you expect to take the win with your run when you came down?
Not at all. It was a bit sloppy and a few moments in it, I reckon. I think like them boys had harder conditions, a bit of a wetter track and stuff, but pretty buzzing.
And when do you expect for your heart to stop beating so fast?
a few hours or something, maybe.
Thanks very much, Craig.
Well, without a doubt, the biggest win of that man's career. Incredible.
Unbelievable run from him.
You know,
this was the jump that took him down in 2016 in practice. He didn't actually get to race last year.
3 months on crutches after that crash.
Blew out his PCL, didn't it? Posterior cruciate ligament, for those of you not in the know on knee surgeries.
That's me. But, you know, he showed us what he was capable of in qualifying, and then in that finals run, he nailed it.
Now, you've got to wonder if a few of the other loose vest riders are going to start making their way up to hardline come the end of the season. Certainly the jumps are on a par. Nico Vink. Vink actually came in 2014, didn't he? So Craig Evans being congratulated there. Absolutely over the moon. When I was talking to him earlier in the week, he was so self-deprecating. He just talked about how lanky and weird his style was, and he hadn't really been doing much racing. He'd kind of been free riding all summer. So to come here and race on a course in this kind of condition, absolutely phenomenal. While Craig Evans gets his breath back, we're going to be back with prize giving and the final thoughts from Rob Warner here. We'll see you in just a moment.
In second position, Bernard Kerr. And in first position, your 2017 Red Bull Hardline champion, Craig Evans.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Will they start? Should we put these up for a photo before the champagne? Yeah. Ben?
Ladies and gentlemen, please one more time for your Red Bull
17 in third place, Bernard Kerr in second, and your champion for this year, Craig Evans.
We promised you it would be a day of drama, and it hasn't disappointed. Those last 5 riders down, Dan Atherton, Craig Evans, Alexandre Fayol, Bernard Kerr, and then Adam Bray. That was breathtaking racing.
Yeah, it was, because, you know, it's the world's hardest track and they raced it. They pushed so hard on it and they all pretty much made mistakes, but Craig Evans, he got it right today, and that's why he took the win. But didn't we see some amazing riding? That poor tree up there, I think it was an solid oak. Yeah, it's packed up its roots and run off.
And still Brayton came off best. The weather was nearly all of the conversation in the build-up to this event, and for me there's got to be a discussion about it in the post-mortem, because we saw the rain coming in up top there, and we heard Bernard Kerr say that it's like ice up there. How different do you think it was for Craig Evans' descent and then the top three, Fayol, Kerr and Brayton?
I mean, it was hard to see from here at the bottom. I kept looking out the back of this tent here, and it didn't look like it was even drizzling down here, but of course, different weather system up there on a mountain. It wouldn't have taken much. Craig actually said he had slightly better conditions. I don't know. But for Bernard Kerr, you know, and the other riders, Brayton, all to look, and Fayol, to look a little bit ordinary, or to make mistakes like that, dare I say, not to look ordinary, to make mistakes like that is uncharacteristic. You know, like Kerr came in there hot. He wouldn't have come in there faster than you could get away with. And it only takes a little slip like that, and, you know, it's really kind of all over. So, yeah, it probably did make things a little slick.
Well, Brayton and Kerr have been eyeing each other like prize fighters all week here. So it's almost as if they pushed a little bit too hard, and Evans, with that consistency, has just slipped in the back door.
You know, that's the nature of downhill. It's people say it's 90% in your head. It's one race run. It's a huge amount of pressure. The temptation is to push hard and really go at it. And on a course like that, a slight error, a slight mistake is punished, because it's so steep, so treacherous that, you know, it blows up quickly. And today, Craig Evans walked that greasy tightrope the best. He got his effort just right. You know what I mean? He didn't push too hard. Like, we saw a lot of big mistakes, but he got it right, and he is a worthy winner.
Well, Dan Atherton on the podium, Bernard Kerr in second, but big congratulations to our winner here at Red Bull Hardline 2017, Craig Evans. I hope you've enjoyed the racing. All that's left for Rob and I to say is thanks for watching. We'll see you next year.